video covers the key of G major. Let's take a look at the key signature, figure out what we're dealing with here. So, G major has one black key. Let's take a look. F sharp. So only one sharp in the key, but you must remember every F is an F sharp. Alright, let's take a look at our first concepts, tonic triad and inversions. Alright, let's take a look at our G major scale to see how we create our tonic triad. So, tonic, scale degree number 1. So first note is a G, a third above that, skip, right, is a B, another skip above that is a D. This is our tonic triad, G, B, and D. Alright, so we're going to start with our right hand first in that closed hand position. So our thumb is going to be over G, third finger is over B, and pinky is over D. Alright, every time we move, that bottom note goes up to the top. Right, so our G is going to move up from the bottom to the top. Now our pinky is on G, make sure you get the fingering, second finger is on D, and your thumb is on B. Now we're going to move again, so that B is going to flip up to the top. Our top note is a pinky on a B, third finger on a G, and a thumb on our D. Alright, now the D flips to the top. Now we're in the first position we started in, thumb on G, third finger on B, and pinky, fifth finger on D. Now we're going to go back down. So that top note, the D, is going to go on back to the bottom. Right, so we have a D at the bottom. Above that we have our third finger on G and our fifth finger on B. We're going to flip that B down again, and then we have our thumb on B, second finger on D, and pinky on G. And we're going to flip it on down one more time in the first position we started in. G, B, and D with 1, 3, and 5. Alright, now we're going to do the left hand. So, closed hand position over G. Pinky over G, third finger over B, and thumb over D. Alright, let's invert our notes, flip it. So now our bottom note is a pinky on a B, third finger on D, and thumb over G. We're going to flip the chord again. So now our bottom note is a D, second finger is on G, and thumb is on B. Now we're going to flip the chord again. We have a G, B, and a D right where we started. Same thing coming on back down. So our bottom note is now a D, second finger on G, thumb on B. Then we're going to flip the chord again. We're going to have our bottom note as a B, third finger on D, and thumb on G. And flip it one more time, right back where we started. 5, 3, 1 on G, B, and D. Alright, so before you try hands together, make sure that your fingering is correct. Very often students will use the same fingers, but you'll notice in your first and your second inversion chords, the fingering is switching between the hands. Watch when the second finger plays and watch when the third finger plays. And as always, make sure that your hands move as a unit, not one at a time, but together. It's okay to try it, sometimes it doesn't work out, just go back to hands separate. But if you feel like you're ready, we're going to try hands together. Alright, now let's learn our primary chords and how to play them in a progression. So, 1, 4, and 5 in the key of G. Let's take a look at our scale. We just played our tonic triad. It is G, B, and D. Now let's take a look at our subdominant chord, 4, the 4 chord. So scale degree number 4, the fourth note of the scale, is a C. Let's stack some thirds. C, E, and G. C major is our 4-chord subdominant. And now the 5-7 of G is beginning on a D. Next note is an F sharp, next note is an A, and the last note is a C. D7, dominant 7 of G. All right, take a look at those notes, make sure that you kind of have a decent understanding of where they're going, and then we're ready to play the progression. All right, let's get started. So, same starting position as the last exercise. G, B, and D with our 1, 3, and 5. Now, our thumb is going to stay anchored over G. We're going to open the hand, third finger over C, pinky over E. That's our 4-chord. Press it down. Now we're going to move back to our tonic triad, close the hand shape, same spot, G, B, and D. Now, we are going to open our hand, F sharp with our thumb, fourth finger is already over C, and your pinky is already over D. Make sure that you take into account the depth on the keyboard. If I just open the hand and if I don't move in, I'm either gonna miss the F sharp or I'm gonna have to turn my hand all crooked, and that's just like bad posture. It's just awkward. So make sure you utilize the depth on this chord because your thumb is short and the F sharp is short. Move your hand in, and then you're gonna move back to your root position, triad on G. Alright, now let's do the left hand. So, root position, tonic triad one more time on G. 5, 3, 1, G, B, and D. Alright, now, we're gonna open our thumb. Everything else stays in place. Thumb is over E, second finger over C, and your pinky is still over G. We're gonna press it down for our 4-chord. We're gonna move back to our root position, G, B, D, 1, 3, 5. Now, we're going to open the pinky to F sharp. Second finger's already over C, and your thumb is already over D. We're gonna press it down, and then we're gonna move back to our tonic triad, G, B, and D, without 1, 3, and 5. All right, so as always, before hands together, make sure that your fingers are staying nice and firm, your wrists are super relaxed as you move from chord to chord. But now that we have the addition of an accidental, the F sharp, make sure that you have good depth on the keyboard. So you don't want your hands turning sideways. We play our chords and we move in, and then we move out, keeping your wrists always above the white parts of the keys. Remember, they naturally move up and down, but if your fingers aren't supporting them, they fall on the keyboard. So if that started to happen, that's totally okay. You just gotta go back to hands separate. But if you feel like you're ready, let's try hands together. All right, last concept, tonic triad arpeggio. We've played a lot of tonic triad already, so I'm sure you already know the 3 notes, G, B, and D, but we are going to start with an open hand shape. So let's take a look at our right hand. So that open hand shape is a 1, 2, and a 3 over our G, B, and D. It's super important to start any and all arpeggios with the open hand because it makes the motion much, much easier to accomplish. So we're gonna play these 3 notes in order, G, B, D. We're gonna tuck and the thumb and turn the wrist over without picking up the elbow. Thumb goes to G, second finger to B, same thing, right? Third finger to D, and now instead our pinky should already be open. It's gonna press down on the G. We're gonna go right back down. So we should still be in position. Third finger on D, second finger on B, thumb on G. We're gonna tuck the thumb, cross over the third finger, and we're gonna land in that same open hand position. Third finger on D, second finger on B, and thumb on G. Alright, now the left hand. So, open hand position. Pinky, fifth finger is going to be on G, third finger is on B, second finger is on D, and your thumb is on G. Alright, keep the hand nice and open, and we're going to play the notes. So, pinky, G, third finger is on that B, next we got the D, second finger, and then the thumb on G. We're going to cross over, tuck the wrist, cross over the third finger to B. And now your hand should slide into the same position, second finger over D, and thumb is already over G. Now we're going to keep our hand here and we're going to go right back down. So second finger on D, third finger on B, thumb slides under to G, and the hand opens up into that same open position. Second finger on D, third finger on B, and pinky on G. So before playing hands together, make sure that you are getting more and more comfortable with the thumb tucking under and those third fingers crossing over. This is an essential piano motion and movement. We just use it all the time in music. So if it takes you a little bit longer to get to those notes than the other ones, that's fine. Just means like try hands separate. Really work on staying relaxed and refining that movement pattern. But if you feel like you're ready to put your hands together, when you do, make sure that you feel your thumbs playing together and the G's in the middle of the scale. Because the moving is kind of staggered, like one hand moves and then the other, and then vice versa on the way down, so watch those thumbs in the middle. Alright, that is it for the key of G major. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was informative and helpful for you on your musical journey. As always, like, comment, it helps the algorithm, and subscribe, turn on those post notifications, all that good stuff. If you appreciate the content, definitely check out the link to the shop below. Get yourself a sick hoodie just like this one. It's one of my favorite designs, the Young Mozart, bad and bougie. Gotta love it. So yeah, good luck with your practice and stay powerful, y'all.